So what's up guys, welcome back to another video. It's Alexi here. So in this video we're going to be talking about walk with God and how you don't need to rely on your fleshly feelings and everything else. You know, I just recorded this video. I could have gotten mad about it that I didn't record it. Not that this has too much relation other than the video with God, but it mostly has with my duty, I guess, what I'm doing, my mission. I could get like very angry and mad right now because I have to record this video again. And I'm kind of taking this opportunity now to talk about this as a good circumstantial situation I find myself in. And I think a lot of us find ourselves in circumstances, situations and events and with people, you know, people try to trigger us, circumstances try to trigger us, you know, feeling moods and feelings is sometimes inevitable, but reaching that state with your walk with God, it's an analogy of Peter walking on water and looking at God only and having true faith and not looking down so he doesn't fall. And those moods and feelings are really, you know, it can be annoying because you have to kind of overcome your flesh and, you know, do the things that you ought to be doing, kind of like I'm doing right now. I have to overcome my flesh basically and my own moods and stay in a state of peace to make this video because I just recorded this and it didn't record. So that's kind of like a good example since we're taking advantage of this situation of your walk with God is you need to learn how to get off your temporary fleshly feelings and moods and overcome yourself to be able to walk with God and to be able to not be perfunctory in everything you do, your duties and everything else, because a lot of times we walk with God and what happens is we have all these moods and feelings and then we start complaining maybe about God and having opinions and notions, and we start thinking about, oh, I'm going through this hardship, why is God making me go through this? And you start thinking it's bad and everything, but it's actually for your growth and it's God's love. And that's kind of the problem, is a lot of us go through that, like these situations, but we don't perhaps remember that, you know, it's all for a reason and God has orchestrated and arranged our lives for a reason and with a purpose. And when you're walking with God, you know, if you are walking with God, the reason you're going through all those hardships and changes is because you are changing with God and you need that to be able to be a better person and to understand, you know, God's arrangements and orchestrations for you is to overcome your flesh and those moods and feelings you have in those circumstances and with people. And once you can understand that, you can start walking in true faith with God and ignoring, in a sense, those feelings and overcoming them and be able to do what you ought to do anyway. And they're not going to stop you from doing what you ought to do, because a lot of times people get really angry and upset and everything else, and they start being like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. That's the problem with a lot of people, is they don't really do what they ought to be doing because of these moods and feelings, and they aren't able to ignore them and they hinder them. And that also might hinder their growth a lot if they aren't able to overcome them. So I hope this helps, this video, to give you a thought about like having moods and feelings and when these are kind of disrupting you from actually doing what you ought to be doing in your life. But I hope this helps. If there's others away, God bless. Thank you for watching. There's a link in the description if you'd like to donate. 101's in the description as well. 101's in the description as well, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.